what would you say is the difference that you have adapted over the years from cooking for a catering event and cooking at home?
I guess you take a little bit extra care, or, stay focused more on your time and your cook temp and everything, the whole 9 yards to make it try to stand out. Let them, like, man, whoever cooked that last year, I want them to do it this year kind of deal.
I'm a big advocate of the best products you'll ever eat or the best products you ever serve is not the recipe's fault. It's just because you allow the time to where if something does go wrong, you got time to fix it. We preach that at contests. It's not the best recipe or best cook that day. It's going to be who can fix a screw up the best, because everybody's going to screw up at some point or another. It's going to happen. Welcome back to OutTheSmoke. We're in the podcast room today. I got my brother Jamie Williams here. He is the other partner in Swine Life BBQ. He's the behind the scenes guy, and we're going to get in here and talk a little bit about the main courses and good eats at a Christmas holiday party. So, Jamie, how's it going?
Man, y'all got it like Christmas in here. It's like
pretty much cold up in here today.
It's iceberg in here.
We built this room to be like really good soundproof, but it pretty much as cold as icicles in here.
It's cold today.
So I guess to kick this off, me and Jamie started cooking in we started competing in 2013.
Yep.
And kind of just got passionate about cooking. And we kind of the backstory to us, and I'll let you tell a little bit kind of how you got involved in it. But our dad kind of got into the deal. He was retiring and wanted to cater and cook for a lot of people. So we had all the equipment. So we got into competing, and it kind of snowballed from there. And now you look 10 years later, we both work for How to Barbecue Right and sell barbecue rubs for a living and have a good time doing it.
Pretty much barbecue every day now. We don't eat as much, but we got
to still cook a lot. But, a little back history of you, or kind of how it goes with you, or what your story is?
So on the barbecue side?
Yeah.
I'm not a diehard chef like you and Malcolm, I guess you'd say.
I wouldn't call us a chef at all.
I'm the basic guy. We started cooking. I've always liked cooking, and I guess for the comp thing kind of changed things up as far as like even how you cook at home.
Yeah.
Not the same, but it's like, man, I was probably overcooking the crap out of stuff, and luckily I didn't die of food poisoning on some undercooked chicken.
All did.
Yeah,
you cook chicken till it quits getting juice running out of it, and it was probably 200 and dry as a cob. But we've learned a little bit since then.
I love winning. I love competing, but the friendship side of it that we met, I look forward to seeing people at contests just as much as I like competing at the contest.
The fellowship definitely goes back. We talk about that all the time when we're on podcasts or doing YouTube videos. It's a lot of it's the fellowship. A lot of it's the people you meet, and we've catered a lot, and that's going to kind of get us kicked off into what we're doing today. But we've had the opportunity to cater for some of the biggest names in the business, and we've met some awesome folks through catering that we never would have met if it was not for barbecue.
We've done everything from I talk a lot about the Ark Butler Physically Challenged Hunt. We've done everything from disabled hunter stuff all the way to John Force race team.
Cooking for drag teams.
We've done it. We've been blessed to meet a lot of cool people and be a lot of cool locations.
And that kind of goes back into the whole OutTheSmoke deal is, we want to be able to capture other stories outside of just competing and cooking, because there's so much more to it. We've all grew up around a cooker, either our dads or our moms or somebody got out there and cooked barbecue or cooked a hamburger as a kid. So regardless of where you come from in this world, it all ties back to cooking, in my opinion. But I guess first thing off, we're talking about the holidays. We're talking about Christmas, and I'm a big host. I like hosting Christmas parties. I like hosting get-togethers, and there's a lot of things that go into that a lot of times people don't think about. I can cook a ham for a get-together, but that ain't what makes, to me, a Christmas party.
So I think now more people are getting away from the so-called traditional turkey and dressing, Thanksgiving and turkey and dressing, or ham and dressing, or whatever at Christmas, and getting into more of a, I guess people are getting on their back porch and doing more cooking, and it's just, I don't know, it's just transitioned a lot from 20 years ago, even 10 years ago, to now what the average guy cooks for his family on holidays.
Well, you're kind of in the same boat as me. Is both our family and our wives' families, both are pretty big. So come to Thanksgiving and Christmas, we probably do, I don't know how many parties we go to, but
it's just, I guess it'd be overwhelming at this house, that house, and get there by 4:00 and this one by 2:00. And then you try to look like you're still hungry by the time you get to the last one, and you're done.
Nothing. But we've catered a lot, and I want to kind of get into some things and talk about, different Christmas parties we've catered for, and different menus we've done? Because I mean, we've done the standard ham and turkey, like everybody's done that. But what are some of the ones that sticks out to you as far as Christmas parties we catered, whether it be in, for a company, if it's for family, if it's just us hanging out? Like, what are some things we've cooked that stuck out?
Man, it's hard to beat a beef loin.
Yeah, I kind of figured that's where you was going with that.
Man, we've done some fantastic briskets, and I don't know. Beef seems to be our go-to main course.
Well, to me, beef
protein.
is, you're able to make it a little nicer. You're able to make it to where it's more of a
kind of like a higher end product,
not like fine dining. Like, we're not about to do no white tablecloth, but to me, like, beef is a nicer way to present. I mean, because you can do, like you say, you can do a beef loin, you can do a standing rib roast, we done a shoulder clod one year that was freaking awesome. So, like, beef, you can do so much with, and it's just, and there's so many different cuts. I mean, you don't have to do just the beef loin.
I love a good ham.
Yeah.
But you ain't gonna get somebody to walk away from a Christmas or Thanksgiving. Man, that ham was good.
I don't know now.
But what I'm saying is,
if you had it laying beside a beef loin.
Oh yeah, I'm a beef loin
all day. And we've done, so I guess we've done steaks. We done 80 something ribeyes last year.
Yeah, 80 ribeyes, 80 baked potatoes.
So I mean, we've done big cooks with beef, and it does get tricky because everybody can cook 1 or 2 steaks very well, but when you start cooking 80 or cooking for your Christmas party where you got 20 people there,
I mean, it's easy to get 80 overcooked steak.
Yeah,
but 80
perfect.
Yeah, it was a challenge.
So what would have been your, I guess, kind of going back to it, like we've catered hog for Christmas. You're saying beef loin hands down, but I might have to lean toward, I'm more of a, like, yes, beef loin's good, but man, when you do like crab legs or something outside of the norm, to me, that's like a pop of freshness. Cause everybody's, at least around us, like, we're going to have beef loin, we're going to have turkey, we're going to have ham, but man, seafood, like a good shrimp cocktail, or you even make that shrimp dip, like something different on the menu to me sticks out more than anything.
See, to me, that goes along more of a appetizer kind of, or a side dish, which, man, the older I get, the more I like the side dishes more than I do
the phone was going to ring. It never fails.
It clicks to my watch. But anyway, the side dish is kind of like my standout thing. I'd rather go eat 10 different appetizers and I have one turkey and
that was another thing, is like we're pretty good about doing, I guess you call them, I guess, like not finger foods, like a little bit up from finger foods. But I mean, even the beef loin can fall under that, like something that a guest can walk by at your house, fix a little small plate, walk around, still get to socialize and visit, but still have a good meal. It's not a sit down around a table with 6 other, 20 other, whatever, how many people at your party. It's more kind of a social deal. That's the biggest thing. So with that, again, we've cooked for our families. We've cooked at contests. What would you say is the difference that you have adapted over the years from cooking for a catering event and cooking at home? Like, is there any extra steps you take to make sure that catering event is a no miss, that it's good? Like, what are some things that you do different from at home? Because you can always fix things at home, but when you're catering for 100 people, you try to make it to where at least 90 of them thinks that's one of the best meals in their life.
Oh, that's the main goal. If I screw up and it's my wife and daughter, I can kind of get by with it. But if I got 50 people standing there that we done, got everything lined up to cater to them, I want it to be top notch. And it's, I don't know. I guess you take a little bit extra care, or, stay focused more on your time and your cook temp and everything, the whole 9 yards to make it, try to stand out, let them, like, man, whoever cooked that last year, I want them to do it this year kind of deal.
I guess one of the biggest things I'd throw to that would be allow plenty of time. That's the biggest thing, is like, your Christmas party's going to start at 5. Well, I want this beef loin to be done at 5:15. Well,
yeah, don't cut it that close. I'm the world's worst at doing that. But yeah, I agree. Man, we done learned over the years, you can hold.
If you take anything from this podcast, realize that beef or turkey, anything, hold it. Like a prime rib, I'll hold it 3 or 4 hours. Take it to 125, let it rest, wrap it up good in a dry cooler, and just let it hang out. And to me, the longer it hangs out, the better it gets.
I agree.
I mean, we learned that. What was it? Tri-tips we held that one time? Like, we cooked tri-tips and held them for 4 hours.
Yeah, 3.5, 4 hours.
And then once we got to the catering event, we just seared them off right there on a little gas burner. And they were some of the best tri-tips I've ever had.
No, you'll learn. It's like, I don't know if we get it caught up in the head. You want everybody to have this hot, fresh meal as soon as they get there. And then something goes haywire and you're
screwed.
30 minutes behind. And then you look like you don't know what you're doing. So,
well, then you get in the panic mode. It snowballs from there.
Yeah.
And I'm a big advocate of the best products you'll ever eat or the best products you ever serve is not the recipe's fault. It's just because you allowed the time to where if something does go wrong, you got time to fix it. You know, we preach that at contests. You know, it's not the best recipe or best cook that day. It's going to be who can fix a screw up the best, because everybody's going to screw up at some point or another. It's going to happen.
Yeah, whether it's something wrong with the grill or the weather, or you just flat up just get behind on everything, because every product, you can cook a beef loin today and a beef loin tomorrow, and they're both not going to cook and finish the same. No. You got to allow a couple of minutes or whatever extra on it.
So we grew up, I guess, Jamie, you're 14 years older than me.
14 years older.
I was an accident, probably not a happy accident when I showed up in the picture, but we grew up, our family, our dad especially, he didn't season anything.
I mean, if he did, it was Lowry seasoning salt.
Maybe.
That was the go-to.
And it might have been a teaspoon for a whole thing. Like we grew up on bland food. Baz, I hate to say it. Like grilled pork chops were not what they are now for us.
We didn't know it. I mean, we thought they was good.
But what would be something like I know mine, I think. I'll have to think on it while you're answering. But like when we grew up as kids, I would say Christmas at our house was huge. Christmas Eve at Mom and Daddy's was 65, 70 people there.
Every year.
And it was a hodgepodge of every potluck you can think of. What was the favorite thing that stood out? If you could have it, like if you had to have it every year.
Man, I don't know.
Because I know what I wouldn't pick. And that old watered down, which this isn't a main course, but that old watered down fruit salad that some old lady brought every year, I could not stand.
My grandmother loved that, though.
I could not stand it. But we didn't have prime rib. We didn't have.
No, we was old school, basic.
Yeah.
Ham, turkey, dressing, and
every now and then, like maybe Uncle Jimmy would do like a hind quarter off a deer or something, or somebody would do something like that stood out. But we were pretty basic. I mean, it was old school Christmas.
See, I always enjoyed Christmas Day breakfast with us.
Yeah.
Just because, man, we got nobody's ever heard of melted cheese.
Yeah.
I think we invented that, but to me, the breakfast was my thing I remember more than anything.
So for anybody listening that does not know what you mean by melted cheese.
So
what is melted cheese besides melted cheese?
It sounds so simple. And then again, everybody's like blown away by it. Like you just get a block of cheese, cut it up in cubes, put it on a non-stick pan, poke it in the oven, let it melt down. And if you buy a higher end cheese, ain't gonna put off as much oil. Cheaper cheese will, but
get greasy.
Yeah, just pat that oil off the top, and something about melted cheese on a biscuit. I don't really know how to explain.
So we've cooked this for people all the time.
Oh yeah, one of my best friends, Michael Lehman, he's never heard of melted cheese, and I think we was at Gatlinburg on vacation with them, and I did melted cheese, and I think he pretty much does that now.
Yeah. I know this is definitely off subject because we're trying to talk about main course stuff, but y'all don't sleep on the melted cheese because
sharp cheddar,
yeah. Which I like the old Colby Jack, the
it's not bad.
But it's something different, and it goes good. And man, you put it on a biscuit, you put it on your egg. Our grandmother would always eat it sugar.
She always get a little teaspoon. She sprinkled sugar on hers, and
that sounds weird.
It's actually pretty dang good.
It's dang good. You just think about what's a cheesecake? It's sugar and technically cream cheese, which is cheese. I mean, but it was solid. But I was very grateful once we got old enough to get involved in cooking for the family and get involved in like cooking different dishes that like. I feel like because of what we're into, we brought kind of a fresh take on Christmas at our house. Because I can remember it, like you say, it was standard dressing, ham, old dry turkey.
I hate turkey like that.
Oh, man, turkey, it'll ruin you. But I guess growing up, one of the first things I remember that was different outside the norm was the first time we ever fried a turkey at Christmas. We done it at Thanksgiving, and I remember... Heck, Jeremy Mitchell was the first one that fried one. I'm pretty certain. Yeah,
our cousin Jeremy done a fried. I'm pretty sure it was him done a fried turkey, and then Daddy's done. That's been a long time ago, but he done the barbecue deer shoulder.
Yeah, And I mean, that was kind of different for us. That was
way outside the box from what
we do now.
Yeah.
So it was a learning curve for us, because once we got old enough to cook and we started doing things, I remember the first time we done something besides a standard, Christmas at our house. We done a whole pork shoulder, which I think was probably right after the first year we cooked with Malcolm and them at Memphis and May.
Yeah, I think it was.
We kind of cut our teeth.
We thought we knew what we was doing.
We thought we knew what we was doing, and we cooked 2 whole pork shoulders, smoked them overnight, and that was completely different for us. And it was dang good. And I remember that too, specifically. That Christmas there was, we had it under the carport outside because it was 80 degrees.
Yeah, 80 degrees at Christmas.
But that was kind of what kicked it off for us as far as breaking the habit of normal Christmas food, I feel like.
Man, you did a 72-hour brisket. It was pretty much on point too.
So that's something else. Like, don't think it's just prime rib. If you want to do the medium rare beef, which we had, I still have my sous vide, but we done I think it was like a 14 or 15 pound brisket. It was pretty good size. Trimmed it down, vacuum sealed it just like you would with, butter, rosemary, garlic, onions, just like you would a prime rib, and threw it in the sous vide for, no joke, 72 hours, and took it to 130. Well, it was 131. So that's the biggest thing. If you're going to do that long in a sous vide, you've got to be above 130. If you're going longer than 4 hours, and we've took this in the food safety cert class, longer than 4 hours, you got to be above 130. So I done like 132 or 131, try to give you a cushion. It was still perfect medium rare. Took it out of that cryovac. Of course, it's ugly as sin.
Yeah, so it's take it out of that meat. It ain't pretty.
It's ugly. And we grilled it just like a steak and then sliced it. And we had brisket that was medium rare, that was tender as a fillet. And it was an excellent bite. I mean, that was something different that caught everybody off guard, and it was something new and, for us to try. And then I guess you'd say after that, we started doing more pork loins. I never done prime ribs at Christmas really until here recently.
Yeah.
And
we've done a couple of, you done the beef loin a couple times. We've done that a couple times. Man, it's just hard to, I don't know. To me, it's hard to beat just any kind of beef.
Yeah. I guess with the prime rib too, something to think about when you're cooking for the masses. If it's your close family, it's one thing, but if you're cooking for 30 different people and so-and-so's inviting so-and-so, the thing about a prime rib is not everybody likes it.
Yeah.
Medium rare.
Because they're rare.
Yeah. And then so that's something to think about. Good thing about a beef loin is you can cook that beef loin medium rare. Then you got the trimmings, the chain, and the head off that loin that you could cook to medium well and kind of fit that people that really don't like good
It almost
meat.
seems like that, and maybe wrong, but in our, like the old school holiday recipes, seem like to me 90% of the time it's the women in the kitchen doing it. Now the men are stepping up, and you get outside, do it on the grill, get outside, do it on the smoker, you deep fry the turkey, anything that's different than traditional. It just gives you opportunity to get out of the house and do it.
Well, I think a lot of it too goes back to, look how bad as I hate to bring this up, is COVID. Look how much that affected the cooking industry, because we were right in the middle of it. So people realize, hey, we can cook pretty good stuff at home, especially with pellet grills now. And you got so many other, outdoor cooking appliances that are so much easier to use. It does give you opportunity to get out there more and, try different things. So I would say this year, I'm going to do it different. Because, I'm tempted to do a hog this year for Christmas. We've done it once before, and I'm not going to say it was our best hog. We were learning.
No, so we done definitely.
We've screwed up some hogs.
It wasn't bad, but we definitely done improved what we final product ended up being.
And I'm going to say, we'll do that a little different. But I guess the main deal is, if you was going to tell somebody this first time you're going to host. So I was there. If I remember the first time we hosted at our house, and I was a nervous wreck. First time that you're hosting at your house, what are some pointers to do to prep before that weekend or before that day?
Granted, if you're doing a hog, you can't or it's not feasible to practice. But if you're doing something like a shoulder, a port loin, a prime rib, or brisket, man, get out there a couple weeks ahead of time and
cook one.
Yeah, do a practice cook and just see. Get your time frame nailed out. Wish I'd have done it with this season. I wish I'd done it that season or whatever, and just kind of get you ahead of the game plan going.
Prepping is key, because again, you want to do as much of this ahead of time to where on the day of, you still get to enjoy the holiday. And I think that's where a lot of people make mistakes is they do no prep work because they don't think they have to. And then Christmas Eve shows up, you got everybody coming at your house at 5 o'clock and you're working your butt off all day to not enjoy. You don't get to enjoy it.
I mean, think about it is now there's so many different outlets you can go to from, if you got a pellet grill, there's tons and tons of YouTube videos to go to tell you exactly how to do it on pellet grill. Or if you got charcoal, exactly how to do it on charcoal. If you ain't never cooked a brisket, you can find a jam up good brisket recipe or whatever that's going to work for what you got to cook with.
So again, like we're saying, prep work before the day of time. If you would recommend, what would be the protein you recommend for that first timer? A don't miss. Something that is, I mean, that's another thing. It's like somebody that's never cooked a prime rib. I'm not going to say go buy a $200 prime rib and take. Now, granted, once you get over the intimidation factor of it, it's easy. There's nothing to it. But in the same sense, I've been there where the first time I ever bought a Wagyu brisket, I'm like, man, I'm just going to screw this
the first time
up.
I cooked a brisket for a Christmas thing, I thought I'd messed the whole world up, but which I probably did. But
so tell us about that.
That was, man, it's been.
That was 2013 or 2014.
Yeah, we just
realized, we just learned what phosphates were.
Yeah, so I'd only cook a handful of briskets by myself, or very few by myself, really. And so I was doing a little Christmas party deal. I'm like, well, man, I know what it tastes like at a contest, and we use phosphates at a contest, we injection at a contest. I'm like, well, if X amount of ounces is good at a contest, if I put more in it, man, it's got to be better. So that's what I did, and it tastes great. But I mean, talking about like 2 bites and your insides were hurting. So,
if you don't know what phosphates are, they are in most commercial injections. We use them in contests, and it's basically a chemical powder substance that retains moisture. The molecules in phosphates attach to water molecules and hold the water or the moisture in the protein. So we use it in contests for that exact reason. But the thing about it, there's 2 things to think about when you're using phosphates. They're going to add more moisture. That phosphate cannot be good for you.
No, it can't be. And we was using it. I mean, we was using it all the time.
Yeah. And it makes it super rich. And it is good. Don't get me wrong.
In a contest, you got to realize the judge is getting one little bite. And man, if you're feeding somebody Thanksgiving, Christmas, they want to sit down and eat. And so that just threw the whole wrench in that whole plan.
Which we used it to our advantage because we were cooking, what did we cook? 3 briskets? Maybe, or 2.
I think it was 2 briskets, and it was, man, it's probably 60 or 80 people.
Yeah, we're supposed to feed a bunch of people. So we kind of knew a little bit about phosphates, what they did. So our take on that was make them rich, make it where it goes further. They don't eat 10 slices. They'll eat 1 slice and they'll be full. But I mean, everybody raved about how good it was, but
yeah, they probably had stomach issues.
They probably all went and bought some Imodium after that because it'll get you. But
I almost want to say port loin, but a port loin's got a fine line the whole time.
It will. So
a pork tenderloin,
you
got more forgiveness.
You got more forgiveness. It's going to have a good texture, regardless if you overcook it or undercook it. And a pork tenderloin is easy enough to where you can go buy a pack of them, which most of them come 2 in a pack, I think.
Yeah, if you go like Sam's, Costco, they're a double pack. Usually Kroger's a single pack, but Kroger run buy one, get one free, or buy one, half off or something like that. But
so you could go practice that relatively easy and get your recipe dialed in. The big loins, yes, you can feed, heck, some of them loins now you could feed 40 people off 1 loin. They're huge. But they do have a tendency, if you overcook them, they're going to be dry. And the texture is going to be grainy. It's not going to be perfect, but it's more budget-minded. And it's still, like, to me, a perfectly good pork loin.
Pork loin sliders, that's one of my favorite.
Pretty hard. I mean, it's a good one. It's not going to miss either.
And I would like to try, what is everybody's getting now? They're getting a ham and cooking it, shredded like a butt.
So you get already a cured smoked ham.
Yeah.
We double smoke them, which I got to cook here in a couple of weeks for Thanksgiving.
I just seen that out in the cooler.
Yeah. So you take a double smoke, or you take a smoked ham, and don't get the spiral slice one. Get a whole ham or half ham or shank ham or butt portion, whatever you want to call it. But you just don't want the one that's cut, and you just cook it like you do pulled pork. So I'm actually going to do this when I go to Indiana for Thanksgiving is we're going to take a ham with us, and I'm going to cook it. And usually we take them to 145, and that's the smoked ham that everybody's used to.
You're just warming it up pretty much.
It's already cooked. But you take the same ham and you push it on up to 175, 180, 190, and it's shred, pull apart tender, and it is good.
I've never had one. I've been seeing a lot of people on TikTok.
Delicious, but it's just it's a different take, and that's a good one because you ain't gonna mess up one of them hams.
No, simple.
I mean, as long as you buy a quality ham, I think Smithfield usually has a pretty good one. The ones we got out there are Hormel's, and they were really good last year. But do a little research, see what's out there, and get you some different options, and don't be scared to practice a few. Cornish hens.
Yeah.
It's something that people sleep on that you don't see much about, but they're dang good.
Which we had some people in, me and you taught that guy last week coming to shop. So he's doing turkey, but he's not doing the whole turkey. A lot of people now are going just cooking. I mean, what do you eat off a turkey?
Breast.
You're going to eat the breast. So why? And you get a whole turkey breast, and man, it just seemed like I don't know if they just hold so much moisture different, or you don't have to cook it as long, and don't dry out as easy, but man, they're pretty daggum good.
The turkey breasts herself, to me, I just don't like.
I'm not a turkey guy.
I like a turkey breast, but dark meat on a turkey is not as nearly as good as dark meat on chicken. Like, to me, chicken thighs are light years better than old thigh on that turkey.
I can't. I'll eat turkey, but I'm not like. That's not my go-to. I pick a ham over turkey.
Yeah. I mean, to me, ham's definitely better. Which I don't know. Some of them big turkey breasts we get from down there at Catering,
that's different.
They're delicious, but that's another option. Instead of doing a regular turkey like you see everybody, I mean, get one of them big turkey breasts and treat it however I've treated them like ribs. Like, I've done barbecue rub on them.
Now, we're not throwing it in the oven at 400 degrees for
you cook
14
it on
hours
a pellet grill. Cook it just like a rib. Put barbecue rub on it. 2 hours. You wrap it in butter, brown sugar, honey, and then take it to 160, and it's good now. You can't go wrong. So I'm all about the beef. Like, if I'm gonna plan my Christmas party, we're not doing turkey. We're doing beef, and probably gonna do some kind of seafood with it. Lay it out. If you were hosting, and you might be, we might do it all at your house this year. Who knows?
Probably not.
Probably not. If you're hosting, what is going to be the menu? Like, no holds, the ultimate Christmas menu. What is it going to be? And I want to really focus on, like, the main entrees. I'm not worried about desserts. I'm not worried about appetizers. Your main deal that everybody's going to talk about. How would you do it?
Man, what did we cook for lamb construction last year? It was a
strip loin.
Oh, that was. I like it just good or better than the.
So that's a good point. So everybody talks about prime rib. I'd rather cook a strip loin.
I had too.
A prime rib's great. Like, it is good, but in my opinion, you got to push a prime rib a little further than what people usually tend to say they do, because they got so much fat. Like, you got to render some of that fat in that ribeye. Whereas a strip loin, man, you pull it off at 120, slice it thin. It's rare. It's a little leaner. You got a good little fat cap on it.
And you got options on that. You can do just straight up steak on your plate with some homemade horseradish sauce. That's pretty much good. Or you can do the same thing, put it on a slider, and there's another option. But I'd say if I was doing, that's what it'd be.
You're going to do a strip loin?
Yep.
I'd either go strip loin if you're feeding more people, but if it's your close friends, beef loin, tenderloin.
Yeah.
Because that's, as long as you don't overcook a tenderloin, it's going to be good. Like, as long as you got salt on it, don't overcook it. Take it to 120, pull it off. It's going to be good.
Man, I'm going to leave here and go to Primos and get me some fillets for supper.
I got to cook tonight too, so that's going to mess me up. We're supposed to be eating healthy this week, and that's probably going to throw a kink in it.
I mean, beef's healthy.
Yeah, but not butter and everything else. It adds up. So this year, we got to sit down and figure out what we're going to cook for Christmas. But I'm going to agree with you. Probably going to be a strip loin. If I do 2 proteins, it's going to have to be pork as another option. I've got to where I like doing the big loins and scoring them just like we do our butts, and then treat them kind of like a steak, but to offset it, to make it completely different from the beef loin, is I'll do like a spicy, like a honey gold or spicy honey mustard sauce to go with the pork on the side, just to give you 2 options. You got the horseradish, you got the beef, and then you can do the pork and kind of break it up and just give people options. And that's the biggest thing, is not everybody's going to like beef. I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't.
Yeah, something wrong,
but not everybody is. Like last year, matter of fact. And
my sister's worst thing, Elizabeth, she don't like all the rare side of the beef like we do, and that's to me, man, that's where it's at.
Which last year you brought up that Christmas party. We cooked the strip loins and we done a pork loin. And I done some of those ones we get from Primo, the lard injected loins. And I had more people come back and say the pork loin was better than the beef.
I don't know what.
And it broke my heart.
I don't know what name brand Frankie here in town
Hatfield.
at Primo's gets, but if you could get a hold to that loin.
And I don't know what it is. It's not lard.
Oh,
It ain't lard.
It's one of the best, from pork chop to whole loin, the best pork you can get. And so you can push it pretty daggum good and not overcook it.
Yeah.
And it definitely holds well.
It holds well, and it's severely enhanced. Like, it's not a all natural pork loin, probably like some people push it off as, but it's an enhanced pork loin. It has some type of an injection. They say it's lard injected, but what research I've done, it looks like it's just I think like a lemon powder, like almost like a lemon juice concentrate powder, onion powder. It's everything that goes in it is in powdered form. Because it don't leak out. Like when you cook it, nothing leaks out. It's not like you're injecting it with apple juice and it's going to run out on the table. It's nothing like that. But man, it's good.
They are very good.
It's a good, rich pork. All right. Before we get everything wrapped up, what would be, you say, your worst fail that you've cooked for the holidays? Like something that you done that either you didn't show up with it or it was that bad.
I've showed up with everything, but I don't know. I've never really I don't know if I've ever really bombed at anything really. I mean,
you ain't supposed to be that cocky.
No, I'm just saying, so this is what's going to happen. We're going to have Christmas at your house. You're going to do all your big stuff, and y'all going to ask me to do shrimp dip. It's hard as crap to crew up some shrimp dip.
Y'all did mess up shrimp dip one year. Y'all didn't mess it up. Whatever shrimp y'all got.
Yeah, it was some shrimp. It was kind of, it was shrimpy. It had extra shrimpy to it.
Jamie is always going to bring shrimp dip, and
which is actually, it's Malcolm's recipe. I've kind of tweaked it a little bit with a little bit different stuff, different seasoning in it. But other than that, it's you go to How to Barbecue Right website and there's Creole shrimp dip, I think what it is.
Buy good shrimp.
Yeah, that was some shrimp I got from Kroger, and I don't know if it's Chinese shrimp or what that kind of shrimp it was.
Strong. When you brought the fish with that,
it was shrimpy.
It was stout.
So I guess, that probably would, that, and we done talked about my brisket I kind of overdid, but other than that, that's probably about, I'm not the host guy like you are. My house is not set up for hosting. I wish looking back, if I built another house, I would set it up that way, but I just don't.
That is something that people don't think about either, is once you are hosting,
you're kind of stuck with it.
You are stuck with it. The first year's going to suck. You're going to hate it until you get it figured out. And then after that, you just don't care. It's just whatever. If you don't like it, go home.
I get reminded every year at your house, it was y'all's first year in y'all's house. You have a very, very nice house. I think it was like 2017, 2018. I had my surgery. And Christmas was in 18. I wasn't in the best shape. And brand new furniture, y'all's brand new house. Emily still reminds me, I spilled something on y'all's.
It was our bench in our dining room.
Bench on your dining room, and it's still there.
It's still stained. I looked at it the other day.
So, I mean, expect disasters if you're hosting at your
house. If you're hosting, expect disasters. Somebody's going to spill something. A kid's definitely going to spill something. But something to think about that we completely forgot that has nothing to do with cooking is how do you lay your food out so it's efficient?
I'm horrible at that. It's a pet peeve when it's not laid out right.
Do you put meat first or meat last in line?
I'd always do it last. I'd do my sides first.
So if you're catering for the masses, always do your meat last. That way everybody feels they're plated with everything else, and you make sure you have plenty of protein to get through the cook.
Yeah.
That was something that, again, we built our house. As dumb as this sounds, we built our house to host. And Jamie will vouch for this. Like, our living room and kitchen is all big open air. Some of y'all have seen it on our YouTube videos, but it's an open room because I knew at some point I wanted to host. And
dumb idea. Looking back,
it's a terrible idea.
No.
But that is something you got to think about, is like, where are you going to set your drinks up? Like, you got to have a drink station. It's got to be separate from the food because
it slows production
slows
down.
Everything down. You got to have your desserts separate from your main course. And I like to have appetizers separate from the main course too, because I'll let everybody eat. I won't eat till after everybody's done. Cause A, my nerves are shot by that point. And B, I'll walk around, snack on finger foods.
Appetizers where it's at.
Yeah. Like, I'll eat appetizers all day. And then once everybody gets their plate and sits down, then I'll go fix my plate. But that's something else to think about when it comes time to host is make sure you got the room and you got it laid out. And we've even done it on my back porch. Like, go get you some tables, or we'll all the time borrow tables from a local church or my dad's church or whatever, and just set the tables up and go. So a lot of stuff, a lot of moving parts when it comes to hosting a Christmas party. And make sure you have you something to calm your nerves some point of the time, because your nerves are going to be on the end by it's said and done. But
that, the way it is now, you're not going to go 3 days before Christmas, 3 days before Thanksgiving to your local grocery store and get what you want. No. They're out. If you ain't got Thanksgiving done by now, you're probably, you're going to be, picking what's left over.
And I'd keep an eye out, a couple of weeks in advance a lot, especially like Kevin out the butcher shop. Man, or you can order from him and it'll be shipped frozen. Just throw it in the freezer until it gets time.
Yeah.
Like, do it months in advance. All your big stuff, knock it out of the way. Get things done to where your life is easier on the day of, because that's the biggest thing that'll make you regret hosting a party, is that you're hosting the party that you're not going to get to enjoy because you're working your tail off getting everything ready. So plan everything in advance, make it to where you actually get to enjoy your holidays, get to enjoy time with your friends and your family, and eat good food, hopefully.
I want people to send us some ideas what they do besides traditional.
I know there's got to be something out there that we have not done.
Probably what were them guys we had here at Malcolm's shop?
We done I know they're from Finland or Ireland.
I don't know.
They've done the lamb's head.
Lamb head. If you look that up on,
everybody at the party gets their own.
Yeah, look that up and look at that, and you'll find out how
dedicated.
You're dedicated.
If that's tradition, you are dedicated to it. All I can say.
You'll find out how tough your stomach is.
I bet it's delicious, but
no, I can't.
I know my mother-in-law would not go for that.
Yeah, look up. I wish I could think of what it's called. But look up sheep head for Christmas.
Yeah. I think it was the Netherlands or Ireland or somewhere like that.
But yeah, that's definitely outside the box for us.
I like to do, just stuff that's easy for everybody, something to enjoy. Again, walk around. The biggest thing is enjoy your time together with your folks. Do whatever you got to do in advance to make that happen and enjoy the holidays. And that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
The holidays are always a roller coaster.
It is.
It don't matter. You got anything else? You got any last minute pointers before we wrap it up? It's got to be something.
I don't know what I do. I don't know. I mean, don't be scared to change it up. Do what you're used to doing, comfortable doing, or like I say, there's tons and tons of YouTube videos from Swine Life stuff to how to barbecue right. Get on to any of these channels and you can find some recipes.
Something different. And just, again, plan in advance. Do everything you can. That way, everything goes smooth.
It's like every year we do something
different
than we did the year before. Just whether it's an appetizer, a side dish, or even a main course, just something to change it up.
We'll do Cornish hens before long.
We look like the Dixie Stampede. Everybody gets their own chicken. Everybody gets their own chicken.
Well, that's all I got. We're going to get this wrapped up, get back to work. Hopefully. Got a little bit to do this afternoon, but
I'm finna go buy a steak.
Yeah, for real. Well, guys, we appreciate y'all listening. Man, if y'all got any questions, recommendations, text us, email us, let us know. Let us know what you're cooking for your holidays. That's the biggest thing, is we're looking for ideas too, but we appreciate y'all checking us out, and we'll see y'all next time.